Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know, from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and this episode, we're going to talk a lot about the free agency and all the madness and money that's just getting thrown around to everyone, as well as a little bit about Summer League, some other things that have been happening around the league throughout these last few days since our last episode. So stick right here. You're listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And we're back. I'm Pauline, and this is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. Kevin Durant is officially a Golden State Warrior. If you're a Warriors fan, this is probably the best thing that could have possibly happened since the championship series. So congratulations to you guys. I know that it's been an exciting weekend. It was the 4th of July weekend, and there's been a lot of things happening just in general throughout the NBA, especially since free agency started just this past weekend. There's been a lot of things going on. A lot of changes have been made. A lot of people have been just disappointed. And I know, especially with Kevin Durant. So at the beginning of this week, he put out a statement saying that he knew that he was going to be disappointing some people and that he had to make this move for himself. Now, if you are truly upset with Kevin Durant as a Kevin Durant fan, I don't get it. You should be happy for this man because, one, it's a business. I always talk about how the NBA is a business and that things are a business deal. And, fans are flaky too. That's why we call them bandwagoners, because fans be jumping. They do whatever they want. And there are a few diehard fans out there, and that's fine. But when we're talking about free agency and we're talking about making moves as far as for a player who he has done a lot for the city of Oklahoma. He has done, Oklahoma City, the city of Oklahoma City. I realize how that sounded after I said that. But he has done a lot for that team. He's been there. He's been consistent. He's never really been anything but a phenomenal player for the team. So I can understand why, as OKC fans, you can be upset about this. But at the same time, what is the ultimate goal for a lot of these players? Ultimate goal is to win championships. And you sometimes have to make a business move or just a move in general that's just for you. And you have to just do what you need to do to accomplish your goals. And that's with any kind of job. So it's kind of interesting to me that people get so caught up in the fact that they're fans that they forget that it's a business. And his goal, if you have a certain goal, you have to make certain moves to obtain those goals. So, and plus there is a lot of money involved. I know Kevin Durant was talking to a lot of different teams, and a lot of teams have been courting him and really interested in him these last few days. But ultimately, he wants to go to a place that he knows that he's going to fit in. And I believe with the Warriors, he will fit in very well. With OKC, a lot of times it was Russell doing his one-on-one. And I think that's actually what hurt them a lot against the Warriors, is that you can't play one-on-one ball. And I've said that before in episodes previous, is as to why I thought that they really couldn't pull it out against the Warriors, because you can't play one-on-one ball with a team that plays really well team ball and everybody gets a touch. You know, Russell likes to make his moves first, and don't get me wrong, Russell is a great player. I love the way he plays. I like his aggressiveness. I love that he loves to attack, but at the same time, you can't play 1 against 5 and then think of Kevin Durant as an afterthought. It's just not going to work, and I can see why Kevin would probably be frustrated with something like that. And so he has decided to make this move to Golden State, where I think that he will fit in very well there. He likes to play team ball. He likes to get everybody involved. But not only that, they have a chance to get to the finals again, especially with some other moves that they're making. They are already a good team that's gotten to the finals these last few years. He sees himself going deep into the postseason with the Warriors. He sees himself really being able to obtain his goal, and that's ultimately what he bases his decision on, is getting a chance to get a ring. And that has nothing to do with loyalty. It cracks me up so much when people are saying he's not loyal, or just in general with any players when they decide to make a move. He's not loyal. You know, you got to stick with your team and you got to pull it out and all of that. And you got to work hard. You got to build, whatever. I get that too. However, I'll say it again. The goal is to win a championship. And if you've tried something multiple years in a row, it's not like Durant was only there for a year or two and now he's jumping ship. He's there. He has been trying. He's been putting OKC on the map. He's been the face of that franchise for a while. He's done what he needs to do. It's time to move on. You have to grow and you have to move on if it's not happening in one place. And if something feels better and seems like it's going to be a better fit, why not? So he has agreed with the Warriors to a 2-year max deal for $54.3 million with, you know, like that option at the end of the 2 years to decide what he wants to do after that. And that's something that I think business-wise is a good thing for him. Career-wise is a great thing for him, trying to obtain a championship and win some rings. And now some players are okay with not winning a championship. Some players are okay with just stacking a lot of money and playing well, being the face of a franchise and just being the loved one on a team and sticking it out with the team. If they win some, they win some. If they don't, they don't. And I mean, that's fine. That's really fine, but you can't fault a man for wanting to make some moves so that he can do what's best for him in his career. So that's kind of like my take on Kevin Durant, and damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. If whatever he decides to do, people would have been mad, and he would have been mad at himself if he stayed at OKC and didn't get past, you know, get deep into the postseason to the championship series. So that's my take on that. We do have a little bit more coming up in regards to free agency. It's kind of funny to me because with all this money going around, we have some guys wanting to even come out of retirement and talk a little bit about these super teams. Because I know a lot of fans are saying that these super teams are just not fair. It's not right. And that players shouldn't gang up on a team and like team up on a team to win championships, that they should stick it out with the team, and that before players, you know, people will say, oh, Michael Jordan didn't do that. There's other players out there that never did that. And I have a lot to say about that too. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss my take on super teams and what I believe is great about them, as well as a little bit more about free agency. There's been a lot of other shifting going around, as well as some summer leagues. So stick around. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And we're back. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline. And before the break, we talked about Kevin Durant moving on to the Warriors and creating kind of like a super team here in the Golden State area. And so for the Golden State team. And then I also wanted to talk about my take on these super teams. Now, these super teams, I think, are great in regards to the fact that these guys that I believe have played so well, deserve to win some championships and to win some rings to add to their resumes. And a lot of people think that it's not fair. And I think that the only people who think it's not fair is people, especially fans, who know that A, their teams are going to have to go against these super teams and just are not up to par, or B, people who just like to hate things. Like, you're just haters. Like, you can't be excited for anything. And I mean, it's fine. If that's what you do, then do you. That's not a big deal or anything. But it's funny to me because why not? If these players are going to these different teams and they're teaming up, why not? You know, LeBron did it, and he went to Miami with Dwayne and Bosh, and they did their thing there. They won 2 championships there, and everybody was mad at him in the beginning for moving. And then everybody was like, oh my gosh, now he's going back to Cleveland. And he, in a way, built a super cluster of a team there, and he built that up there, and now they have just won a championship this past season, and everybody's excited for him. Oh, now we're talking about him being the best player in the league, best player perhaps of all time, definitely top 5. So nobody is really talking about the fact that he jumped ship to Miami and jumped ship back to Cleveland. Everybody's talking about now he's solidifying his legacy with these rings, with these MVPs and things like that. And we also forget that before, and you know, people will say, oh, back, the league is changing and the guys and the way that these guys think are changing, and now everybody nowadays just wants to they don't want to work hard for it. They just want to jump on a team and win quick, easy championships which I really don't think is a problem. But then we have guys like Kareem. Nobody talks about Kareem leaving Milwaukee and moving to LA to be on a better team, to win his championships, and to do what it is that we now honor Kareem and what he has done. Everybody is just, I mean, some people, you may not even know that Lou was with Milwaukee. You know, some people just know Mr. Kareem and the Lakers, which is fine too. But that's an example of another person who has done what Durant is doing and what LeBron has done as well. And the flip side of all this is, I know that there's guys like Dirk Nowitzki, who just signed another 2-year $40 million deal with Dallas, who has been with his team for his entire career, which is admirable too. Like, I'm not taking away from that. Like, and I personally was very, very happy when the Mavericks won, because I wanted him just to get at least one ring for his loyalty and for what he has done for that team as well. And so, you know, there are some guys that it does pan out for them to stick with the team and to work through the ups and the downs, and eventually they may get it. And but then there's a lot of guys, even Hall of Famers, that don't have rings. And you have guys such as Walt Bellamy, 1962 Rookie of the Year. He's a 4-time All-Star, no ring. Pat Ewing, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Elgin Baylor. These are all guys that we know that are phenomenal players who have no rings. They have gold medals. They have, MVPs. They have Rookie of the Year accolades. They were all NBA players. They were all-star players, but yet they have no ring. And I honestly think that these guys, that despite all of the other accolades and all the other achievements that they have accomplished throughout their career, are still, that still pains them. There's something inside that says they did not reach the epitome of what it is to be a basketball player in the NBA, and that's a championship ring. Everybody works hard for a championship ring. And despite everything else, they just didn't reach that pinnacle. So, and maybe if, Pat Ewing and Charles would have teamed up, we'd be talking, just about them being Hall of Famers, just about their championship rings, just about their MVPs, their Rookie of the Years. And we wouldn't be talking about them saying that they achieved all these things, but yet that one last pinnacle they never could reach. They could just never reach that because they did not team up, because they decided to stick with their teams. And I mean, I guess for some players it may not really matter. They may just feel like, oh, they can just sit on a lump of cash and be the face of a franchise, like I said earlier in the show. And that's fine too. But when these players decide to make bold moves and decide to make moves to build super teams to win championships, I think it's very smart. I think it's smart. I think that it's a career-wise, it's very smart, and they can make a lot of money. And some players are even willing to take pay cuts in order to have some guys come onto the team. And so that alone just shows you that if they believe that what we're doing and what we're building is correct, then why not? Fans are always going to hate you no matter what you do. So, and I mean, that's my rant on super teams and why they're really not that bad. It does make, I know, and plus, see, and it's more fun for your team if they beat a super team, because then as a fan, you're excited that your team has beat an all-star team. So everybody gets to, get excited about something. And super teams, just because, and on the flip end of it, just because you're building a super team does not guarantee that you're going to win a championship. I mean, the Warriors, I think, are going to make a great run again this season, especially if everybody, I think all the players that they're bringing on and keeping play a really good, like they can play their roles. They're okay with staying in their lane and playing their roles for the team. And speaking of other players that are thinking about coming on, Ray Allen, his representatives have also reached out to the Warriors and the Cavaliers, and reportedly also the Spurs and the Celtics. So we even have some guys considering coming out of retirement due to, these super teams. And also, I think just the money also. And we're going to talk about that a little bit after the break, is the new salary floor. And that is also playing a role in not only free agency, but just long-term with these teams. So you're listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. We'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. So before the break, I kind of touched on the fact that Ray Allen is considering coming out of retirement. He's putting his feet in the water to see what may or may not pan out for him. And I do think that if the Warriors haven't expressed too much interest in Ray Allen, however, I think that would be another key superstar to have come out and have on the team for the Warriors. He's a great shooter. He's, if not the greatest of all time as far as his shooting is concerned, that he's only been in retirement for 2 years, so he's still, not too rusty. I'm sure he's one of those guys that always will stick with it. He'll never really get out of shape until he's really, really old. So I'm sure those 2 years are nothing to him. And I think he would really fit well with the Golden State Warriors. I was talking about it a little bit in the office this morning, and we had discussed how, as a good shooter, he would fit in really well. He would definitely come off the bench, which is not a problem. But then when they do throw him in there, and when they're making these substitutions, because a lot of times one thing that can hurt a team, especially a great shooting team like the Warriors, is when you rotate players out, like your starters out, and then the lead drops down because of who you have in is not that great of a shooter or as great as the starters. So then, the other team, the opposers, get to like chip down at that lead. And I don't think that they would have a problem with Ray Allen with that. Clearly, having him come off the bench would keep that intensity as far as from the 3-point line. And I think he would fit in pretty good there. We talked about that this morning, like I said, in the office, that we're not mad at him for wanting to come in and join a super team and wanting to, add a ring on for one season and maybe just, be done after that. Why not? I think it also has a lot to do with the money. There's a lot of money just getting thrown around right now during this free agency process. And one guy that I have talked about already, Dwayne Wade, he's asking for a minimum 2-year, $50 million contract. And now, he's been a guy that has been loyal to his team. He has been with the Heat for a very long time. He has put the Heat on the map. He has brought them championships. He has brought them other all-star players to come just because he's there. He has brought in that organization a lot of money. And they're only telling him they're not budging on this $40 million 2-year contract that they have proposed to him. And I think it's kind of wrong. We talked about this also in the office. I think it's wrong when here on one side we're seeing that players should be loyal. They should stick with teams. They should fight for one team and not be hop skipping around the league. And you have a prime example of a guy that has taken pay cuts. He has brought them championships. He has ultimately, he's kind of like the Kobe Bryant of the Heat when it comes down to the fact that he has brought in so much revenue for them and has brought them so much, like he's brought the fans happiness. There's really nothing more that Dwayne could really do for the Heat when it comes to what he has done for that franchise and what he's done in his career for them. And he's dedicated himself to them. And I think that they really should give him the money that he wants. Give it to him. Let him, what he's asking for is not that much considering what other guys are asking for or other guys are actually getting. And I think, Dwayne, you deserve to have what it is that you want. I know that he has been a little bit courted by the Cavaliers and LeBron out there. He's also talked a little bit with the Bulls and the Nuggets, but I don't know if he would really want to go there to one of those. I think it's either, I think he could also go to Cavaliers. I think the Cavaliers could make it happen. They could make some switches around, make some trades, and make it happen for Dwayne. They definitely, people have been talking about that. LeBron is not going to take a pay cut. Whatever. We already know this. He's not going to do anything that he does not want to do, which is fine. That's King James for you. So Dwayne, I really think that the Heat should give him what he wants if they want him to stay, because I think that another franchise will. And at this point, why not, Dwayne? If they're not going to give you your money, then go do what you got to do, because there's nothing else that anybody can ask Dwayne to do for the Heat. He's done everything. So if you want to talk loyalty, you want to talk championships, you want to talk teams, he's done it. He's checked everything off. So I think that's why he is shopping around a little bit, because he knows within himself that he's done all that he can do and all that he needs to do for a team. So now he's looking at other options and other goals that he may or may not have. But then at the same time, I think he loves Miami. I think that they should definitely do what it is that he wants. I don't think he's asking too much. I don't think he's asking, it's chump change compared to what some other players are getting. And it's really funny to me because a lot of players are, I was telling my boss that he needs to go outside and shoot some hoops and take a sprint because with the way that the money is going on with this free agency, he can get signed too. We have players that will be on the bench of some of these teams and probably never see the court sitting pretty. And I mean, I ain't mad at them if, you know, I ain't mad at them. If they're going to be making that money sitting on the bench and they're cool with that, then do you, boo? Because some guys are really just okay with getting cut them checks. And if you're fine with that, they're just, I don't think that the NBA really considered, we were, you know, a friend and I, we were talking about what other, because this is just like a madhouse right now as far as when it comes to money is concerned. A lot of organizations are literally just giving away money and they're just throwing it because they have it to throw. Like there's so much money that really is just getting added on just because of the fact that it's there. Not necessarily that some of these guys may deserve all these max deals that they're getting, but then at the same time, we were talking about that what could have been differently because now next year is going to be, you know, the cap is getting raised even more. So it could happen all over again where a lot of guys that aren't even really NBA league material to actually get off the bench and to actually make a difference on some of these teams are just making so much money. And I mean, hey, do you? Because these guys deserve to be on these teams too. They've tried and worked their butts off for many years. So I ain't mad at that. But what I'm saying as far as the business side of it is that there's a couple different things that could have been done differently with the way the free agency is set up right now. Is that we could have either the NBA could have added more active players to a roster, because that's the thing, is that money is just getting thrown around because there's nobody to throw it to. So maybe adding more active players to a roster to kind of like spread that out, or having the pay raise, the hike, happen exponentially over 5 years, over 7 years, whatever, whatever, and having it slowly go up rather than just throwing, just like a dump sum of money and just saying, go for it, free for all. They're just offering anybody to come because now once they've gotten the main players that they want, they can just throw it around. So, but then at the same time, next year, it's maybe some of these organizations will learn from it, because then they're signing like these really long contracts for a lot of money to guys, 4 or 5 years, to guys, and then they're running out of money. So in a way, these next few years, if somebody else, there's going to be a lot of free agencies next few years. There's going to be a lot of other guys with the player option after a year or two. So there will be guys that are available, and teams just might not have the money to throw, they just might not have the money to offer because they have a no-name guy on the bench who is, on a max deal for the next 3-4 years. So that's something that may or may not be hurtful in the future for some of these organizations who are just trying to reach the cap and just trying to just throw out money. But then at the same time, for some of these other guys, they're getting contracts and getting money that they probably never expected to get just because of this new hike. So that's been how that is with the free agency. In other basketball news, there's been just like a lot happening in the NBA, a lot of money talk. But other than that, first time in a decade that this has actually happened. But OJ Mayo has been disqualified for 2 years for violating drug rules. And so he's actually dismissed and disqualified with the opportunity to perhaps be reinstated in 2 years. I don't know. He was the number 3 draft pick in 2008 overall. But he's been kind of quiet these last few seasons. I don't really know. He's going to be 30 by the time he's eligible to reinstate, to apply for reinstatement. So it may be time for him to, think of other things. I hope he's made some good investments with his money, because this is not the first time he's been suspended before due to violating drug rules with the NBA and the Players Association. So I'm not sure. I think it may be done for him. I don't know. It hasn't been released what it was for, what he has done, or what violations, what rules that he violated. So, but he only averaged 8 points this season. So I don't know. He could be a great comeback story, but it may be the last that we really hear from him. We have 2 years to wait, so we'll see what'll happen by that time. If there's a lot of money, some people might be just throwing some money at him to have him come back. So you never know. He may be able to come back into it, and we'll see with that. That looks like it's all the time that we have for today's podcast. Next podcast, I want to talk a lot about the summer league that's been going on. A lot of these, Ben and how he's been doing. I've been really excited watching all the summer league games. So come back next week for my episode on that. You're listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. You can listen to me on gsmcpodcast.com, iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Also, if I tweet. You can tweet me. My handle is at GSMC_basketball. And I want to hear how you guys feel about these new contracts and all this money. And I want to hear about how you guys feel about these super teams. I know we talked a little bit about these super teams and these guys teaming up on these super teams. So I want to know your guys' take on that. So tweet at me at GSMC_basketball. This has been Pauline, and you're listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast. I'll come holla at you guys next week. Bye.